The Environment Committee in the European Parliament had a massive voting session today in Brussels on over 400 amendments to the food labelling regulation. As everyone knows, this is now at the second reading. We've been through the first reading when the amendments which I tabled on requiring special labelling for all meat products that the animals had not been pre-stunned before slaughter. That amendment was carried not only in the committee but again in the plenary session of the European Parliament in Strasbourg, but was then rejected by the Council of Ministers. Now at second reading, these amendments were retabled with my support, and in the committee vote this morning they were carried with a significant majority. That means now these particular amendments will go before the plenary session in July in Strasbourg. If they are carried, and I suspect they will be in Strasbourg by my colleagues in the European Parliament, it then has to go before the trialogue, before the Council and the Commission again. There's every possibility that the European Council of Ministers may once again try to reject what the Parliament has asked for. However, because we're at second reading and this is the last chance saloon for the Council, it means they have to find a compromise with the Parliament and with the European Commission. Now, there are many ways that we could achieve a compromise, but I'm particularly concerned because a lot of meat is finding its way onto the market in Europe where the animals have had their throats slit without being pre-stunned. And the majority of European citizens demand that the animals at the time of slaughter are dealt with in the most humane way possible. And that way, according to the scientists and the experts who advise us, that way requires pre-stunning. In all of our abattoirs, which are licensed by the European Commission, we have qualified vets on hand all the time these abattoirs are operating, even 24/7 if they are operating for that amount of time, to ensure that there is no deviation from the humane slaughter of our livestock. I've had a lot of constituents raising questions of deviation, of mistakes being made in the slaughter of animals. If that happens, it is up to the qualified vets to raise a case against the perpetrators. They can be brought to court. They can suffer huge penalties. They can even end up in prison. Now, some NGOs are suggesting that we should have CCTV fitted in abattoirs, and that is something that may be worth considering. Now, all of these issues could be brought to bear when we come to negotiate eventually with the Council if they are still not of a mind to accept the amendments that were approved by the committee today. So these are all issues on the table. I think it's been a breakthrough vote once again for people who consider animal welfare is a very high priority, like myself. And I think it's essential, and this is why we put these amendments down in a food information regulation, it's essential that the public in Europe should know what they're buying. And if they are buying meat from animals that have been slaughtered by the halal or shechita method in the Jewish community, then they should know that. They should have the right to know and see on a label that that animal was not pre-stunned before slaughter.